Weingarten, president of the American Federation of Teachers, one of the nation's largest unions. Thank you so much for joining us. As mentioned, the president is now hoping to sell this idea, this change. But so much of this, Randy, still has to do with No Child Left Behind, and the push to get Congress and the administration to do something about that.
So there's two things that are going on here now. Number one is we still have to change the federal law to continue the focus on equity, because schools that address poor kids, we need those dollars to go to poor kids. But the second piece is to change the accountability system so it's not just about tests and high-stakes tests. But what happened and what the president's announcement is so important about is because they've been doing all these waivers of No Child Left Behind, and the waivers have continued and put on steroids high-stakes testing. So him saying we were complicit in this, we have to take a step back, it's a big deal. But one thing, a lot of people are still skeptical. Like parents whose kids have been so stressed out, they're like, show me a real difference. And teachers who for the last 4 years have been saying, we need time to be creative. We can't just have one test mean so much that we can't be creative, or we can't actually address special needs kids or high needs kids, or
well, it's a one-size-fits-all formula, and by all accounts, from parents to teachers to students, it has not worked. But I've got to bring this up here. You know, we perused and looked for critics of, who would say, listen, no, we need more tests. Across the board, everyone says that just too many tests, too many standardized benchmarks that have to be met. No one seems to agree on the solution. I want to read just a statement from Bob Schaefer, director of the Public Education of National Center for Fair and Open Testing. It's a grassroots standardized testing group, and they talked about the president saying, belatedly admitting that high-stakes exams are out of control in the U.S. public schools, but does not offer meaningful action to address that very real problem. Now is the time for concrete steps to reverse counterproductive testing policies, not just more hollow rhetoric and creation of yet another study commission. Congress and President Obama must quickly approve a new law overhauling No Child Left Behind that eliminates federal tests and punish mandates.
So what's going to happen is, or what should happen, is that we need a new education law. The difference is there's probably going to be some annual testing that is about informing instruction, because you need to know where kids are. But where Bob is totally right is that right now the stakes on those two tests are everything. So frankly, the schools throughout the nation did what they were supposed to do, focus on those two tests. We need to have a lot of different measures, like project-based instruction. We need to have classroom information. We need to make sure that we have real supports for kids. So what we need in a new law is a much better accountability system that's much more about what kids need to know and be able to do, including allowing teachers to be creative.
Right. But what's so interesting also in this is that you have the Education Department, as you pointed out, admitting to blame. In this statement release, it says, in too many schools, there's unnecessary testing and not enough clarity of purpose applied to the task of assessing students, consuming too much instructional time and creating undue stress for educators and students. Here again, this is from the Education Department, and you will have, I think, any parent who sees that statement say, this is what we've been saying all along.
So what's happened is that, so in April 2013, I came out with saying, let's have a moratorium on the stakes. And a lot of these people were like, oh, no, you're anti-accountability. No, I'm pro-child and I'm pro-teacher. We have to find different ways of doing it, and frankly, there are different ways. But there has to be a delinking from evaluation and also from not closing schools based upon these two tests.
But there still needs to be a way to monitor teachers to make sure that these benchmarks are being met. So and that's some of the criticism, obviously.
So this is what you do. There's 3 questions you ask about teacher evaluation. 1, does the teacher have the tools and conditions they need to do their job? Number 2, have I taught it? Number 3, have kids learned it? I'm a high school social studies teacher. If my kids coming into my 11th grade class can't read, then it's going to be very hard for me in high school social studies to be able to teach them in a way that I want to. So what happens is we have to answer those 3 questions in terms of teacher evaluation, not have teacher evaluation based upon a Florida Teacher of the Year getting a bad evaluation because of a VAM score, value-added measures, that had nothing to do with her kids, meaning it was based upon kids she never had in her class. So that's why everybody is saying, let's do this differently. Although I haven't heard any of the Republican candidates who have been go, 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 test, 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 actually weighing in here.
So we'll have more on the discussion, of course. Thank you so much for joining us. Great pleasure. Well, the new video